Have you ever flipped over a bag of cat food, looked at the ingredient list, and felt like you needed a chemistry degree just to understand what you are feeding your best friend? You are not alone. Most pet owners are unknowingly falling for marketing tricks that cost them money and cost their cats their health. But what if I told you that the secret to a longer life for your cat is actually hidden in the fine print? Welcome back to Cat Care Academy. Today we are diving deep into the confusing world of cat food labels and specifically looking at what our kittens need to grow into healthy tigers. By the end of this video, you will be able to walk into any pet store and spot a red flag from a mile away. Let's start with the biggest lie on the shelf. The front of the bag might say chicken dinner or salmon feast, but the back of the bag tells the real story. The first thing you need to look for is the first ingredient. It sounds simple, right? But here's the catch. If the label says chicken, it means the water weight is included. If it says chicken meal, it means the water has been removed, so it is actually more concentrated protein. A lot of people get scared of the word meal, but high-quality, named meat meals are actually excellent sources of protein. But wait, before you throw out your current bag, you need to know about a sneaky trick manufacturers use called ingredient splitting. And this is something that shocks almost every cat owner I talk to. Imagine the first ingredient is chicken. Great. But the second ingredient is peas. The third is pea flour. The fourth is pea protein. If you added up all those pea ingredients, they would likely outweigh the chicken. This is how companies make a plant-based food look like a meat-based food on the label. Always group the grain or starch ingredients in your head. If there are 3 or 4 different forms of corn or peas listed in the first 10 ingredients, that is a major red flag. Cats are obligate carnivores, which means they need meat, not a salad disguised as kibble. Now, speaking of meat, have you ever wondered why your kitten seems always hungry even though they just ate? It might not be a growth spurt, it might be the filler trap, and we are going to expose that in just a second. When we look at the guaranteed analysis on the label, specifically for kittens, the numbers are totally different than for adult cats. Kittens are not just miniature cats. They are energy-burning machines growing bones and muscles at a rapid rate. An adult cat might do okay on 26% protein, but a kitten really needs closer to 35% or higher. If you feed an adult maintenance diet to a kitten, you risk stunting their growth or causing developmental issues. You have to look for a statement from AAFCO that says the food is formulated for growth and reproduction or all life stages. If it says maintenance, put it back on the shelf immediately if you have a kitten. But protein isn't the only thing. There is a specific mineral balance that can actually be dangerous if you get it wrong. Stick around because I am going to explain why simply adding calcium supplements to your kitten's food could actually be a fatal mistake. You see, in nature, a cat eats the whole mouse, bones, meat, organs. This provides a perfect ratio of calcium to phosphorus. In commercial food, this ratio has to be precise. For kittens, this balance is critical for bone formation. If there is too much phosphorus and not enough calcium, the body will actually pull calcium out of the kitten's bones to balance the blood levels. This causes something called nutritional secondary hyperparathyroidism. It sounds scary because it is. It leads to brittle bones that break easily. This is why home-cooked diets are so risky for beginners. Unless you are working with a board-certified veterinary nutritionist, stick to a high-quality commercial food that guarantees this balance. Now, let's talk about the wet versus dry debate. Is dry food really bad for kittens, or is that just internet fear-mongering? The answer is actually somewhere in the middle, and knowing this could save you thousands in vet bills down the road. The truth is that kittens need calories, a lot of them. Dry food is very calorie-dense, which makes it easier for them to get enough energy to grow. However, cats have a very low thirst drive. In the wild, they get most of their moisture from their prey. A mouse is about 70% water. Dry kibble is about 10% water. If you only feed dry food, your cat is likely strictly dehydrated for their entire life. This concentrates their urine and sets them up for kidney disease and crystals later in life. The best approach for a kitten is a mix. Use high-quality wet food to ensure hydration and flush the kidneys. And use high-protein dry food to ensure they are getting enough calories for that zoomy energy. But here is a question that stumps even experienced owners. What exactly are byproducts, and should you run away from them? The answer is going to surprise you because not all byproducts are created equal. You will see chicken byproduct meal on a lot of labels. In the US, named byproducts like chicken or beef can actually include organ meats like liver, kidneys, and spleen. These are nutrient powerhouses. In the wild, the liver is the first thing a predator eats because it is full of vitamins. So, don't automatically panic if you see byproducts. However, if the label just says meat byproducts or poultry byproducts without naming the animal, that is a mystery meat you want to avoid. You want transparency. You want to know exactly what animal is in that bowl. We have talked about ingredients, but what about the flavor trap? You see with tuna on the label and think you are buying a fish diet. But the FDA rules say that if a label says with tuna, that fish only needs to be 3% of the product. 3%! The rest could be corn, wheat, and chicken fat. If the label says tuna dinner or tuna entree, it only needs to be 25%. If you want actual tuna to be the main ingredient, the label effectively needs to just say tuna or tuna cat food, which requires it to be 95% of the weight. Don't let the pretty pictures of grilled fish on the front fool you. Flip the bag and check the list. So we covered the bad stuff, but what specifically should you look for to support a kitten's brain? There is one ingredient that is absolutely non-negotiable for cognitive development. That ingredient is DHA. It is an omega-3 fatty acid, usually sourced from fish oil or algae. It is naturally found in mother's milk and is crucial for brain and vision development. When you are scanning that label, look specifically for DHA or fish oil or salmon oil in the ingredient list. Studies have shown that kittens fed diets high in DHA are actually more trainable and have better visual function than those who don't. So if you want a smart cat who actually listens to you, or at least ignores you intelligently, make sure their kitten food has DHA. We are almost at the end, but I have one final tip that helps you determine if a food is actually high quality or just high marketing budget. This is the recall check, and it takes 5 seconds to do on your phone. Before you commit to a brand, do a quick search for that company's recall history. A company that has had multiple recalls for serious issues like salmonella or vitamin toxicity might have quality control issues. Accidents happen, but patterns are a warning sign. You want a company that employs full-time veterinary nutritionists, not just marketing experts. Look for brands that own their own manufacturing plants rather than outsourcing to a giant third-party factory that makes food for 50 different labels. Feeding your cat doesn't have to be a guessing game. By ignoring the front of the bag and reading the back, you are taking control of your cat's health. You are investing in fewer vet visits and more years of purrs and head bumps. If you learned something new about pet food labels today, or if you were surprised by the ingredient splitting trick, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us reach more cat parents and save more kitties from bad diets. And I want to hear from you in the comments. Go check your current bag of cat food right now. What is the very first ingredient listed? Let me know down below and let's see who has the best quality food. Thanks for watching Cat Care Academy, and give your furball a treat from me.